r/ProRevenge by Reddit Tales Wedding Edition. Don't announce your engagement at someone else's wedding, or this might just happen to you. Originally I posted this to r/ProRevenge, but I think it belongs here. Last summer I was at a cousin's wedding. His bride and her family had been close with ours since before I was born, and the couple had known each other since they were toddlers, so it was a particularly exciting event for both sides of the family. However, after the ceremony was over and the party had only just started, one of the bridesmaids decided to announce her own engagement. The attention was immediately taken away from the newlyweds and brought to the bridesmaid, who I'll call Sarah, and her equally smug fiancé. My cousin's wife, I'll call her Emma, didn't make a scene or utter a single negative word about Sarah. She looked like she was on the verge of tears, but she kept grinning and acted very happy for the other couple. This was unusual, as Emma is typically quite confrontational and speaks her mind, no matter the consequences. Sarah later picked Emma to be the maid of honor at her own wedding, which took place last weekend. I wasn't there for it, but my cousin sent me some of the best bits on Snapchat and explained the whole situation. This is where the fun begins. Emma's two much younger sisters were the flower girls at Sarah's wedding. At the very last moment, Emma switched out the white petals in their baskets to blue ones she had secretly brought with her. She told her sisters not to say anything about it, or let the bride see them, until it was time to scatter them down the aisle. Sarah looked very confused upon seeing the blue petals, which didn't coordinate whatsoever with her theme, but of course she didn't say anything about it in the moment. Most of Sarah's other bridesmaids were also Emma's friends, had attended Emma's wedding, and were in on Emma's scheme. At the reception, Emma's sisters and the other bridesmaids were tight-lipped when Sarah began demanding to know why there were blue petals. The wedding planner ended up getting a lot of abuse for not checking the flower girls' baskets before they walked down the aisle. Finally, it was time for the speeches. The speeches took place in front of a massive screen, displaying a loop of photos with Sarah and her husband, which had been compiled by Emma. Emma took the remote that controlled the presentation screen, and at first she showed some pre-approved humorous photos of Sarah with Emma and other friends to facilitate a couple light-hearted jokes. Then, at the very end, Emma said to Sarah that she must be wondering why there were blue petals instead of the white ones originally planned. That was when Emma displayed the last slide from her presentation. Emma announced in front of everyone that she was 5 months pregnant and that she just discovered the baby was a boy, hence the blue petals. The last slide? Her ultrasound picture. There were shocked yells and gasps. Sarah had a fit, but those involved in the scheme cheered so loudly that I sincerely regret watching the Snapchat recordings with headphones. Apparently Sarah had been very nasty to her bridesmaids before, driving several of them away and forcing the others to pay ridiculous amounts of money for dresses. Emma and my cousin were eventually thrown out of the party, but they were all smiles. Sarah's fuming mother went to confront her outside, and Emma retorted with, "Gentle, I'm pregnant." I reckon Sarah doesn't speak to the majority of those bridesmaids anymore. TL. Doctor, self-important bridesmaid announces her engagement at my cousin's wedding, stealing the spotlight from him and his bride. Said bridesmaid foolishly names my cousin's wife a maid of honor and behaves like a complete Bridezilla. Cousin's wife sabotages her wedding to announce her own pregnancy. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the gold. Edit 2. Oh wow, silver 2. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Revenge on Bridezilla, Raka killing with kindness. Background. When I got together with my husband, he had a female friend who was basically queen of one of his friend groups. I was never really close to her, but I liked her well enough, even though we were very different. She's more girly, I'm more tomboy. Fast forward 6 years and she and her longtime BF are getting married. Another thing you should know is that none of us are super rich. In fact, the lovebirds are just a tad bit on the ghetto side. Bridezilla's mom however thinks her baby walks on water, and they plan a classy wedding, confusing classy with expensive. Thus begins the horror of this year plus engagement, or as I like to call it, the money grab. These people have been living together for going on 7 years, but they are going for the full white wedding. By full I mean 2 engagement parties, one with an addendum that no gifts are to be purchased. Instead we should bring cash for the money tree. 2 bridal showers, including another money tree. Out of town bachelorette party. A bridesmaid's tea at a fancy tea shop where the bridesmaids paid as a gift to the MOTB. Various ladies' nights where whichever poor bitches showed up were slave labor for enforced craft time like making favors and tying 200 ribbons for handing graded invitations. Not to mention they were all potluck and biob, so we didn't even get free food because Bridezilla can even throw together some cheese and damn crackers. At this time my husband and I were really struggling financially, so this constant spending was hard and the guilt was constant. Oh my maids _singing. I made you one of my 12 bridesmaids out of respect for your relationship with my oldest friend. What do you mean you can't take 2 unpaid days off of work and spend $500 for my weekend long bachelorette party? Cue tears and phone calls to my husband and other bridesmaids asking why I don't like her. I learned that due to the honor of being one of 12 bridesmaids I would be forced to spend $275 on an ugly navy fucking Blu-ray monstrosity from one of the city's most expensive bridal salons. WTF. It was the definition of never wearing again and probably cost $2 to make in China. And we had to find navy blue pumps to go with. Finally, we get close to the wedding, which means shelling out money for gifts, because the lovebirds have registered every damn place. They are treating this like the Price is Right. They registered for computers and flat screen TVs. They registered for 2,000 thread count sheets to go in their ghetto apartment. And finally they registered for fancy china. I think the china is what finally sent me over the edge. Bridezilla does not cook. Bridezilla does not even have a table in her apartment. Bridezilla doesn't have storage big enough for the 12 place settings she registered for. And I'll be goddamned if I pay $38 for a salad bowl for anyone. So, I find myself with another bridesmaid, who is also mightily sick of this shit, standing in masses looking over the registry, and I get a bright idea. I ask a sales lady to help me find the most useless cheap kitchen shit on this list. Thus begins Grudge gifting. We track down every useless thing on the list, and we price check it to see where we can find the exact thing cheapest. Special air vented pizza pan for making your Ed Baron extra crispy? Check. Countertop mini cupcake maker in the shape of a cupcake that makes 7 mini cupcakes. A Cooper cake pan costs like $5. This thing? $27? Yep. Countertop fajita maker shaped like a chili pepper. Chickadee check. Soon we have a pile of stuff that is made for garage sales. This is shit that no one uses, and it's all from the registry. We buy all the shit at masses, thus getting it off the registry. Then we go to Walmart and Target and buy the same shit. Then we go back to masses and return the expensive shit, but neglect to give the part of the receipt that says it's from a registry. So it's checked off. Bridesmaid #2, and I take it home and wrap it all individually so that we have 2 towers of beautifully wrapped crap. Crap that we have scraped the price tags off of. Crap that we have neglected to attach the gift receipts for. And all crap that was specifically requested. We show up at the wedding and do our duty. Everyone oohs and ahs when we set our very pretty towers of crap on the gift table. After the wedding, we immediately go and change into non-horrible dresses and shoes and shove our combined $600 worth of navy blue dresses and shoes in a paper sack for immediate donation to Goodwill. We get our drinks from the cash bar and top them off from the flasks that we wisely snuck in. 2 weeks later I get a call from Bridezilla trying to tactfully inquire about gift receipts. Weren't they in there? I could have sworn I put them in there. Let me look around the house. Couple months after that, a very polite thank you note. A month ago they had a garage sale. Every single item was out for sale, including a very dusty 7-portion cupcake maker. TLDR, ProRevenge is getting you exactly what you want and having you thank me for it. Holy shit. Reddit gold. Thanks, kind internet person. Bridezilla catering rage. I posted this on ProRevenge, but I think it belongs here as well. I used to manage a catering company for my boss while he was undergoing chemotherapy. This is one of my first gigs where I was in charge. The bride calls me at 1 in the afternoon the day before the wedding and decides she wanted a cheaper menu. She and her husband already paid for almost everything, and it's far too late to change anything. I told her that, but she started throwing a bitch fit saying that she wants to change the steak to a chicken and demanded we either serve chicken or charge her the price of the chicken and she will not be paying for anything extra. I informed her that according to the contract she is to receive 150 steak lunches at a price of 50 per plate, and it also states that she can't change the menu unless she does it at least a month before the wedding. When she hears this, she flips the hell out and starts screaming at me, calling me illiterate and telling me her fiancé is a lawyer and they will sue me etc etc. She handed the phone over to her fiancé and he also started screaming at me saying it's his damn wedding and he can have whatever he wants. They end up firing me at the moment and I inform them that the cancellation fee is 90% of the cost of catering, which I was already paid for, and they start screaming at me telling me that I ain't shit and they can get anyone to cater for them and they are going to make me pay for it etc. They end up hanging up on me, thank God, and I had an inkling that I should probably keep making the food in case they call tomorrow and they want us to cater. So we finish cooking, and the next day at 7 AM I get a call from the groom, and he demands that I come down there to cater the wedding or they are gonna sue me for not providing service. I calmly tell the guy that they terminated the contract yesterday and as per the termination clause on the contract, we are entitled to keep 90% of the entire cost of catering. He is raging. He didn't say anything but I can feel how mad he is over the phone. After a moment of awkward silence I inform him that if he would like us to cater the event, he has to do same day catering, which is 3x the original price I charged him. He has to pay all fees in advance, and the food depends on what we have available and ready, and we also reserve the right to refuse service. He gets really pissed off at this point telling us this is extortion. He already paid for food, so he didn't have to pay again. I informed him again of the termination clause and also informed him that the food was for a previous contract and that contract had ended and he would have to pay for it again. He ended up starting a new contract with us and for 3x the original price. He tried to change the menu again just to spite me, but I then made sure he knew I reserve the right to refuse service. He and his Bridezilla kept everything the same down to the baby carrots and of course the steak, all while paying me 3x the original price if they had just stuck with the original contract. As soon as we got to the venue, before I got anything out, I made the bride and groom sign the new contract and pay me completely in advance, 22k, and left to deposit the money. While I was gone they harassed my caterers and threatened someone with deportation, even though they were legal. He tried to sue us later, and the judge heard the recorded phone calls, saw the contract, and told him to pay my legal fees. I looked them up on FB recently. Apparently they are divorced now. It's only been 3 years. TLDR, Bridezilla cancels catering and terminates contract day before wedding only to have to rehire us and pay 3x as much for same day service. Ended up suing us and lost because the evidence was on our side. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you keep the Bridezilla at bay.